The thing I read about it was that the guys, they're like brothers who made it, right? I think so.
Yeah.
They're like the
directors
brothers.
and they wrote
They were like thinking that the next season was gonna be the last season they were gonna do because they were like, oh, we don't have anything yet. Was the guys, they're like brothers who made it, right? I think so.
Yeah.
They're like
the directors and they wrote
they were like thinking that the next season was gonna be the last season they were gonna do because they were like, oh, we don't have anything yet. Was the guys, they're like brothers who made it, right? I think so.
Yeah.
They're like
the directors and it's funny to hear it
we're
sound
like thinking that the next season was gonna be the last season they were gonna do because they were like, oh, we don't have anything yet. Was the guys, they're
Doug, you are echoing.
yeah, can you hear yourself for a second?
Sorry, I had my browser window open when it's just running the delay. There we go. Now we should be good.
Technical difficulties.
Always with the live feeds, man. Always. Okay, now we're running.
No, but they were saying that quarantine's the reason that they're gonna do more seasons because they had time to like write out more stuff. But they were like, we were gonna end it and now we have more ideas of what we can do. So now we're gonna just keep going forever. I don't know about forever, but
yeah, they have a lot more plans though now.
Yeah.
Like Hopper coming back.
Really?
Yeah, he's coming back.
I thought he died.
That's what they wanted you to think, apparently. So they released a little bit of a thing early, and they said that Hopper survived the mechanical thing that happened, the explosion of the machine. That's what I read. So don't yell at me.
Interesting.
Oh, and also Hopper was like one of the good characters. Come on. He was
That's
such.
why he would die, though. You know, he was one of the only decent people in the show. That's how it goes. Are there any other shows that have been saved from quarantine?
I mean, not that I know of.
Yeah.
I just know that they were talking about it and they said something. I read that somewhere. I don't remember where I read that. But it was like a statement that they said that quarantine saved Stranger Things.
That's crazy. Huh. But there's a lot of indifferent fans about that.
I was a big fan of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and it was going through, I guess, kind of mid-season, I feel like, in the spring. And then it just, I don't know, I haven't really Googled to find out what happened, but it's just, obviously, nothing's progressing in that space.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah.
It was weird, though. I was watching one episode, and it was set during quarantine, but, like, they didn't know Corona happened yet. Like, it was set in the future, but the future was during COVID. And I was like, aw, wouldn't that be nice? Like, that would have been a great March.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't remember what it was.
Good time for programming and new content, new shows. I'm thinking about different styles of like how they putting things together. One of the things that came across, I like Vox, so Vox content comes across my YouTube feed, and they were talking about the Mandalorian, the show. I don't know if anybody, if you saw any of the episodes of the Mandalorian.
I've heard of it.
It was a Disney project, and it was like one of the characters or a new character or something. But the way they filmed it was apparently different concept. Oh, somebody's got something to say. They shot it on what they call panels, LED panels. So instead of a traditional green screen behind actors, which we have been seeing for so long, right, since The Matrix, right, blue screen, green screen, they're using what they call panel LEDs, which is almost just like a screen, like it's a live video screen, so they can project the image onto the screen of the scenes, basically project the background. So instead of doing it in post and waiting to do the color transition switch out, let's have a live image up there. So it's really a cool concept because on so many factors. So one, they're saying the actor feels immersed first in the space because now the set, it's a traditional set. It's no longer this virtual set that's going to come in post. Again, they have to imagine that they're at the landscape of the desert is behind them. On a panel screen, you would just look back and there would be the landscape of it. So it sounds very simple, but apparently it's been hard to do in video production. So everything has to have been done again in the afterlife, right? Once we've already done filming. So what's really cool with this is that they use, they have what they call a brain trust. They have live people that are running the scenery live. So the panels will change contrast and lighting as the actor or the camera moves, and they can adjust that in real time. But they can also insert objects in as you would like in a video game environment or a 3D computer space. If you want to pop in your robot droid in the Star Wars concept, they had like a droid pop in, it can move around, or if they want to want the element of fire to be to move up and down and the flames to grow bigger, they don't have to do those things in post-production. They can do those things live while they're filming the scene. I was like, this is kind of a concept that's kind of cool because it, again, for an actor, I would think that would make that would seem much more believable for them to be in the scene that they're in rather than these green screens. So it's kind of a cool movement. I thought of a progression of technology of how we're going to see movie making or filmmaking change. But yeah, something away from your traditional green screen is this what they call LED panel concept, but way cool.
That is interesting. Like
Yeah.
It is so funny though, because when you said it's so simple, I was like, that sounds like something somebody would have already done.
Think,
Like
right?
that?
Well, yeah, Stanley Kubrick, 2001, A Space Odyssey was the first. Yeah, it's the projection concept. Apparently it's hard to do. Apparently it's hard to create because the lighting is challenging because the actors and the cameras. And so that, I guess that's why not only, I guess you can't do real things like you can't create the space imagery perhaps or the earth. But yeah, it's again, not a complicated concept to film another screen.
Yeah.
You know, when we did, I think we did the Luigi's Mansion Nintendo Switch video game review, and we didn't want to do a green screen, so we didn't have any way to get Switch content into post. So we just filmed the screen, right? And tried to film on an angle of lighting so we didn't capture too much shadows. And if you didn't move too much, we kind of got a pretty good video out of the deal, you know, for a stationary shot.
One of my favorites. I don't think
you still play the game?
Anyone else liked it or liked it, but I had a great time.
A long-waited game, man. They waited years for that game.
It was infuriating.
It was hard to play, though, wasn't it?
Kind of, but I feel like in the same way, it's just like games are meant to be challenging. But
yeah, you said that I think in your review too. That's kind of like part of that process.
Sasha having fun? All right.
Yes, I'm having a blast with my dog.
But yeah, I don't think anyone else had fun while we were filming that because it was just me playing a video game and everyone else was just there.
You were there.
I had fun.
Again, like for the style, that was our first time filming another screen and the way we lit that. I thought for that style, I thought we did pretty good. And yeah.
We should definitely do that if we can ever again.
Yeah, record on a panel LED screen, put something up in the background. Again, simple. I like doing things that are simple but look cool.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't get help. I always get stuck in cinematography space, you know, because I just think that that's the best part of the movie or TV, you know, any kind of, it's the visual experience. We talked about that in our social media. It's how it's kind of put together, you know. I think that's kind of to see new trends.
That way about lighting. And it's such a simple concept too, but it changes everything.
It's huge. I mean, I think we've all learned more about that through our Zoom space, right? That you would traditionally think, you know, oh, a light behind me is good. No, light's awful behind you. And experiencing with this simplicity of it. That again, it's so simple. It's just lighting. How can it make such a difference? Oh yeah, it's only everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only completely changes how you see somebody.
Yeah. Lighting. Yeah. Yeah. Lighting and sound. Yeah. Yeah, I've noticed, like, and it's interesting to see what you see trending. I did see, and you see it like the trend in cinematography was they did that. There was the war movie where they did the long shots where the whole movie was a constant pull shot.
1918.
What was it called?
1918.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. And okay, I feel like he won cinematography.
It did. It was an Oscar.
Yeah, the guy that filmed it, an older guy, and he'd been around and just cool. Put all these pieces together to have this one crazy shot
whole movie.
just pulled back the whole time.
The whole movie is
Yeah.
one shot.
One
Like,
pull
that
shot, to never see a cutscene and never see the cutscene. And so I feel like that Amazon has a new kind of Amazon movie, and I was trying to watch it, and it's kind of trying to follow that same style where you have these long shots, and the long shots go back to cinematography, maybe to like The Godfather, and where you have these ridiculous long shots that just go on where there should have been an edit, like it's just 60 seconds, 90 seconds of this one shot. This person is walking away from the camera. And in old style, we would jump cut, and maybe Tarantino would have thrown in a real hard jump cut on a beat and something cool. But I see now this transition kind of back to these kind of, where again, it holds shot for 90 seconds. And it's like this motion, and it's I don't know. Again, I feel like because of the jump cut and the fast edit, it's the complete opposite pendulum swing would be to slow that completely down, back to like the Godfather time where these shots were so slow and long. But we're using the cinematography, modern technology of the gimbal where the camera doesn't move as much. I feel like creates these really cool, perpetual shot where you can have that motion of, you feel like you're fluidly there, but you're there. I like a little shake. I don't like that.
I think they used a little shake for some of it, and then they used like a crane for other parts of it, which is crazy to me.
The thing I heard about that movie was that like it was kind of screwing with people's attention spans almost, because like especially younger people now have really, really short attention spans because of things like the internet, and it's just like videos. And if you're watching a movie and you might like zone out a little bit, but then it cuts to another scene, you're like, oh, I should pay attention now. And it's like a reset. And so I heard that like movies, because there are a lot of movies now that are doing like longer scenes and like less jump cuts. It's screwing with people because people just aren't paying attention.
Like it. They're like agitated, right? They're like, why is it slowing down?
Yeah.
It's to bring you to the point of this, that we've gone too fast. That's cool. That's cool, Lily, that they're becoming uncomfortable.
That's what I've heard, is that like a lot of people have issues with it because they're like, I can't pay attention for that long. I need a cut so that I can repay attention.
Yeah.
It's like that shows you how bad our brain got, though, that you can't hold space. You can't stay focused for 90 seconds through a continuous shot. No. And I don't want to see it. No, I want to cut to the action. Well, there was no action because there was no buildup. There was no story. And if you don't allow for the buildup, you can never have the release. So allowing the buildup to happen slower, longer, better, and then maybe we could have an epic shot rather than just this staggered jump cut. What is this mess of put togetherness,
Yeah.
So how do you feel, Lily, on that space? Where do you sit? Do you feel comfortable, uncomfortable?
I feel comfortable, but I think that's just because I read and I have a longer attention span because I'm a reader. Like that helps your attention span. So I don't have a really short attention span. I can pay attention to something for like a long period of time. So that doesn't bother me, but like I can see how it would bug people if it's just like I can't focus that, because there's a lot of people who have focus issues, and that would just be like, I don't want to have to like force myself to pay attention. So I can see that argument of that, like I need the cuts to like help me watch it and enjoy it. Because like I feel like if you force yourself to pay attention, you're not gonna like whatever you're paying attention to.
Forced attention.
Because I feel like in the specific case of 1918, it was still interesting. like if you did pay attention or if you could pay attention. But that is interesting to think about.
Yeah.
Yes.
There has to be something worth watching, I guess. Is that the? I felt like when I was watching. I don't want to talk about the Amazon. I can't remember the name of the show. Is that terrible? Because it was like I was like I feel like I'm watching a concept rather than content, because it was, again, it was the way it was put together. It was captivating for me because it was cinematography. But I felt like they had got caught in the gimmick of that motion again, of let's use the long shot, let's lose the gimbal. But there wasn't really something worth watching. Like the shot that I got lost on was a dirt road shot, and the camera is kind of, I guess we're going from one space to another, and they're going to show us that in real time as we move, and the camera is going to go along the dirt road, and the camera went along the dirt road, but there was nobody with the camera. The camera was just, and I don't know if we were supposed to be, I was like, am I supposed to be then the person? But there was no footsteps because I was very smooth, because I was like on a fluid cam, and it was down low to the ground. And I just got lost in the space of I went, and I get it. We were going to I think we were going to a basketball game, and the way we transitioned to that was really cool. And once we got there, we got this really kind of, what we wanted to see was the camera kind of go from outside the door into the space, onto the floor, into the game, right, and become part of the scene. But I got lost on the journey because there were no footsteps, and I was like, well, I'm breaking apart. I'm analyzing this too much, so I'll stop.
That's how I get, like with the Joker and stuff. I just like they're using this color for this scene, and reuse that same color for this scene, and that's because they're trying to convey the same emotion. And I got way into it. Which
is great and good and bad, or is it? Did you get lost does the story get lost?
I don't think it does. I feel like I get lost in cinematography, so I have to watch something multiple times to like understand the actual point of the show or whatever. Otherwise, it's just me being like, "Ooh, they did that. That was really cool. I noticed that thing that they're trying to convey," and then I don't actually notice what they're trying to convey because I'm too busy noticing what they're trying to convey.
Well, with Joker, I feel like that's a movie that they do all that intentionally. Like the lighting is very intentional, but some movies don't. And you try and analyze it, and you're like coming up with stuff that means nothing. Doing it for no reason. But Joker is one that I could see because all of that is intentional.
Yeah. They have a video on Vanity Fair, I think. It's the guy who
he's
made.
Good.
He's insane.
Yeah. And he's like not supposed to be doing this either, right? Isn't he like?
Yeah, it's not his main job.
He like just stumbled upon this, and he's just good at it.
He's a producer, I think, was his main job in movies. And then someone was like, hey, you're really good with the lights and stuff. You should do that more often. And then he did it for the Joker movie instead of being producer, and he won an Oscar for it.
Well, that's the one I remember. The scene I remember him pointing out was the scene of The Hangover, where they're on the rooftop with The Hangover, kind of setting up the beginning scene. They're doing a toast, and the way he's lit that, lighting darkness is. I always think the next.
He lit it from the floor.
Yeah, how do you light darkness, right? I mean, film a scene in the dark and light it. You know, like that I would say probably the most challenging thing, and he did that in such this epic way. You're right. He lit it from the floor and made it look like the hotel lighting was kind of like just kicking up, right?
Yeah.
But he managed to do it in such a way that you just believed they were on the rooftop in Vegas in the dead of night, you know, making their toast. Yeah, cool guy. But yeah, not by intention, right? Just by accidental. You're really good at this lighting stuff.
Yeah.
Stumbled into that.
But I always think that's how people get the best work, is when it's not intentional.
Don't try too hard.
I mean, obviously, when people try harder, they get better results. But I feel like if someone is like, hey, I've kind of noticed you're kind of good at this thing compared to most people, then you kind of look into it more and you're like, I kind of am good at this thing. Like,
that's a good perspective. And especially if you look at the movie as like parts of the people, the jobs of the movie.
Yeah.
And again, like he thought he was one role, and he's like, I'm really good at, and sometimes you get so focused on that one role, you don't see the other roles. Like he's like,
exactly.
I'm this, I'm director, I'm producer, or whatever he kept banging his head on. And somebody, I don't know again what point the twist happened, right? And and then the lighting popped in, right? And then yeah, he finally listened to that. And it's kind of a cool perspective. Someone else to tell you that, you think? Or did
I
you
feel
get
like you don't notice things about yourself as well as someone else might. And obviously that depends who you surround yourself with. Like, I feel like most of my friends are not super observant. And that's not like a bad thing or anything. It's just like, you know, you don't need to be thinking about what everyone else is thinking about. But every once in a while, someone will. And you're like, wait a minute. No. I know me. I swear.
Yeah, you think you do, but you're right. It is the people you hang out with, and if they're good, true friends, right, and truly know you, then maybe they can kind of reflect back a bit of some of the things that maybe you're good at that you can't see that you're good at.
Or if you're bad at something and you can't see that.
No, I'm a great singer. Stop saying that.
Yeah. Why are you plugging your ears?
Just don't like my song. That's all.
I feel like that's just all about perception though, because I feel like people you are inside your head is always completely different than how other people see you. Like they're just not even close to the same oftentimes. And so I feel like you do have to ask people around you to find out like what kind of vibe you're giving off, because you won't be able to tell that from yourself because the person you are in your head is not what people are seeing. And maybe that's a good thing and maybe it's not.
It is interesting to think about. Now it's like, well, how do people see me, you know? Interesting.
I think it's different at different times too. Obviously, you know, if somebody sees you first thing in the morning, when you're first getting up, you know, versus once you've got, I say get going, right? Like your motor's running somehow, whatever that is, when you got the sleep out of your eyes and you're, okay, I'm up. But those are, I feel like, two different people, you know? And then again, depending on your health and how you're feeling, your energy, I feel like that kind of drives your beat or your rhythm of the day. So yeah, it's hard. Remember, I feel like we're changing as people. Sometimes I'm a little softer, sometimes I'm harder, depending on my energy, I guess.
My Google Photos doesn't even recognize you as one person. So, yeah.
No, changed a lot during this time.
That is a true thing though. Like, because Google Photos, they recognize people's faces and you can like,
Yeah.
you'll put them in a folder. It's like, all of these photos have this person's face in it. And for Doug, there's like 3 folders on mine. And it's just certain eras of Doug. I'm like, I've labeled them like Doug, September through January.
Depending on the year.
Doug, February through August.
Yeah, it's been a long journey. It's, you know, you've been on this ride for a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to keep changing. You got to.
It is funny to look at the pictures though, because it's like, no, I totally get it. I wouldn't think those are the same people either.
No. And you look back at, I feel like you look back at yourself always you look back at yourself and you're like, who was that? Who was that person? Almost like, what haircut was that? What shirt was that? Where did that shirt even go? You know, like those kinds of moments.
Yeah.
And I think those are good. I feel like those, you don't always know when they're going to happen. Those progression moments. So the day you clean out your closet and you're like, this is it. Today I'm cleaning out, or the day
It's a new person now.
Yeah, new person now. Like move the bed around or something. Change something, a radical change to try to change up your rhythm, I guess. Or yeah, maybe the universe changes yours.
Trying to think, like, I don't know if I've had any of those. Because I feel like I look relatively similar.
I feel like it's not even about looks. It's just about like, why did I do that? Like,
Yeah.
do the thing that I did 4 years ago today.
Like if you would react to something differently now, even with the same circumstances.
Experience.
in that sense, I have changed a lot.
Yeah, that's life, right? Like you learn, right? Like, and I
Yeah.
think that's, a bit of repetition gives you some of that, right? We talked about you come to expect things too once you've kind of been around a bit. You're like, okay, well, this is kind of the way it's been before, so it should be this way again, or at least, yeah, daily routine, whatever. I always think about Ruka and the cat. It's weird when Ruka looks for the cat in the same place all the time that the cat was. Well, that was so long ago. At what point do you move on? And at some point, she's like, I've forgotten about the cat. I used to have that spot. I did that every day for a week, and then one day that's gone. But she held it on for a while. I like new routines, though. I like routine only to the point at which I can change the routine. Then
Yes.
we talked about that.
As long as you're not aware that it's a routine, it's great.
So true.
I feel like that is always a changing point for people, though, is like when you realize that you're kind of setting yourself up in like a stuck position. Not necessarily stuck, but that's how some people see it. So I always thought that was interesting. It's like, why is that the reason you want to change? Because clearly it's been going great, but realized it was going great. And you're like, no.
I'm big on the mantras lately, but it's like some point you feel like you need to get a new song. Like I like my songs and I like my song on repeat a bit. And then at some point you're just like, I don't know, I got to get a new song. I need a new rhythm. And that's okay. And I'm cool with that. And I'll find it and I pick it up and I'm like, okay, that's the new one I was waiting for. But it's almost how you kind of have to do it.
Yeah.
Music's a big one to me. I talk about music a lot. New Music Friday is big. And I was thinking about like how music, especially on a road trip, like when you're traveling, like that, how music helps you get through those gaps, like, or that time when you're just sitting in the car and you're like, oh, this is going to be, like 100 miles to Waco kind of thing. And you're like, well, this song or this set or this album is going to push me through this next little bit, Yeah. And I find that's kind of the cool thing of the rhythm. So finding the new songs every week is kind of like, okay, well, who's got what this week? We got some new tracks today. So it's like, okay. Yeah. A new beat, I figure, is fun.
Yeah.
A lot of people associate like time periods in their life like with music. Like my aunt does that a lot. And I don't do that. I don't know. I just don't do that. And my brain doesn't do that. But she's like knows exactly what year something happened because of the song that was popular on the radio that time.
That's so
cool. I don't do that. And that's crazy to me that that's just something that a lot of people do.
Cool though. That's that's not like a January timeline. That's like a pop culture timeline.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, that's when Kim's she lost her earring in the ocean. That's when that was. Like
it's like some of them just like Old Town Road. If Old Town Road came on, as much as I'm like, it would take me back to that time period, just to like that when I kept hearing that over and over and over again everywhere I went, right?
Early 2017.
Yeah. So Lily, does that affect you when you hear like Old Town Road, for example?
Yeah, it does, but like I can't pick out certain like years specifically. Like I would just be like, oh, I guess that was around the time I was beginning high school, I think, around there, but I wouldn't be exact about it. And like I don't associate like things that happened in my life with songs. And a lot like that my aunt does that. She's like, oh, I remember exactly when I graduated high school, exactly what song was on #1 charts. I know exactly. I don't do that.
That's not normal? Wait a minute.
I just don't do that. Maybe I'm the weird one.
No. Because now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like thinking of songs and I'm like, oh yeah, that's this part of my life. It's not necessarily like what was popular, but I'll be like, when did I listen to Red Hot Chili Peppers the most? Like summer of 2019. Like
See, I don't have that exact, like, it was this summer. I have, like, general areas of, like, within 3 or 4 years. It was in between there somewhere. I don't know. Associations are weird, though. Some people associate, like, smells with a lot of stuff. Like, I think smell is the, like, memory trigger one sense that's, like, the most powerful. If like you smell something that like is from your childhood, you will instantly remember exactly like where you were.
That's the thing, because I don't have that necessarily, but because sometimes I just won't recognize what the smell is. I'm just like, I know what this is, but I don't know why. That's always the worst. Like, I think there was one time, it was like a preschool thing, I guess, and our teacher would put like shaving cream on all the desks and let us play with it. But it was a special kind of shaving cream that basically cleaned the tables. So it would just be us spreading the shaving cream around playing with it, but we were also cleaning the tables at the same time. And I didn't know that at the time, but they like explained it later and I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense now. That's why we would do it every day. That was but I smelled the smell later and I was like, why is this so distinct in my memory? And I think it took me like a whole month to even realize why I remembered it so much. But
yeah, I think the weirdest one I had was I found a candle that was like, I know exactly when I had this candle, and I remember the exact chapter of a book I was reading when I lit the candle for the first time. And it was like, I had no idea that I had that in my brain, but I smelled the candle and it was just like, I know exactly what it was. And that was crazy.
So do you use books, like when we were talking about music as timeline, will you use a book and say about, like Stephen King, 11/22/63? If I say that to you, do you remember where you were reading that?
Yeah, I guess so. I never thought about that, but yeah, I know what summer that was. I read that. I read that
Wow.
summer of 2018.
wow.
So I guess I
That's
did.
cool.
You have a thing.
Wow.
That's so cool. I would not remember, what time frame it had taken me to read, or that's
I'm
cool.
learning about myself. Wow.
Are we all?
Do you have a thing that you count time by, V?
Yeah, kind of, and it's like my current obsessions or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, okay, so if I was obsessed with Percy Jackson, oh yeah, that was 4th grade or stuff like that,
Yeah.
And it's like I'm a different person each obsession.
Interesting.
Would you say games, games or video content be kind of playing a role in that? Like what game you're playing during that time,
League of Legends. That's my current who I am right now.
So yeah, Assassin's Creed or something like that, or whatever's from your past, that comes back around.
Mhm.
That's interesting. Does Sasha have a thing? Or
He's out with the dog.
is Sasha busy? Okay.
Kyler, what about you? Do you measure time?
No.
No.
You have no concept of time at all.
I wish I didn't.
You wish you didn't? That's how I'm feeling in 2020. I feel like it's still not
There's
real.
no point in having a concept of
I
time.
agree.
I'm still stuck in 2012.
12. Somewhere good.
What happened in 2012? Wasn't that supposed to be like the end of the world?
I was a better person in 2012.
You gotten shittier as time's progressed, V? Is that the deal?
Yeah. You know how like people get like they grow better? Yeah, I just grow worse.
No, I question that too. I feel like because you're supposed to gain knowledge as you get older, and I'm like, I'm losing knowledge. So massive steps into weird spaces. You're like, I used to know stuff.
I was a straight A honor student. Now I'm not even straight anymore.
Are you having fun? You can do your best. That's on my thing here. Just do your best. Do your best on this gig.
That's the thing. I always think about that because, like, before I went to Bending Oaks, I was like president of my class. I was a nerd. I was in all STEM, like AP stuff, and I was balling. I was the person that was like, oh, you mean you don't know about this? Oh, you think you're not going to apply to Ivy League colleges? That's weird. Haha. I was that girl. And then I lost my mental health.
Oh, you're still that person.
What?
Still that.
I don't like her anymore.
Okay. She's changed a bit. And I feel honestly, I feel like you would be, if you hadn't changed or you're not changing through this stuff that's going on, then yeah, you're not capable of growth, I don't think, right?
Yeah.
But
some
people progressing more than others. Yeah, this is change. You're growing up. We're all growing up.
I think it was just a nice, healthy realization that mental health is important too. And it would be nice to be a billionaire that went to Harvard and, helped invent Tesla and SpaceX. But I would also like to be a stable human being with a life outside of what I put out into the world. Like maybe I just grow tomatoes in my backyard. Okay, that's fine.
Yep.
Not everybody has to know about my accomplishments.
I support that.
That's true. You
so
can grow
much.
the tomatoes. You don't have to tell anybody about it. You don't have to post to Instagram about it.
Exactly. It's like not the entire world has to benefit from your achievements. And I think that was a really hard lesson for me to learn.
That's cool. It's a good lesson.
But yeah. Now, I remember being like, when I first came to Bending Oaks, I was like, you mean they don't even have a student council? Like, I was so disappointed, but at the same time, that's exactly what I needed.
Sure. Well, I'll change your pace. You've been through some of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Bending Oaks formula, I guess, in its own right, in the independent space of non-government, to not that space, just to be void of that conversation, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, there's only like 10 people anyways, so
yeah,
you would fill up the whole government with
exactly.
just the student body.
Yeah, it's hard. It's when you're small, it's some things you can do, some things you can't do. Yeah, that's had some dysfunction on it. Like trying to have a competitive sports teams, like that's not,
Can you rock, paper, scissors?
Yeah. Well, we can do music really well, It's things we can. It's like know what you can do, what you can't do, I guess, and what we're good at. And we tried in our Bending Oaks time through different spaces, different things, and yeah, music is one that's just solidified really well with us.
Yeah.
Expression, and not competition. To remove competition, because when we add sports, it gets competitive. When we add government, it gets competitive. And if we already have enough competitive aspects of life. Can we, if we're trying to learn safely and comfortably, can we take out some of the competition? And if we do take out some of the competition, and we all just do our best and play our role, is that a successful culture?
Because there's some people that need competition to do better, I guess. Like that's definitely something like I've noticed, like working from home, I guess, doing homeschool. It's like I'm not trying as quickly to do all my assignments.
Yeah, interesting. So who were you competing with when you were competing?
Yeah, it's just yourself.
Question is, this is good analysis, right? Because this is self-competition, right, or self-drive, right? This is the can you say, do you say F it to the moment, or do you say, well, no, I need to get this done, and I need to do my best on that? And yeah, you're right. I feel you're pushed there on somebody else besides you doing that as well. Is that part of that?
And it's not like a bad pressure necessarily. Like it depends on the situation, but like I feel like turning in homework versus like taking a test is a little different. Like taking a test, you're like, I have to be the first one to finish. If I'm not, I am a loser. But
That's
like,
overachieving. Isn't it? Just do the test, get it done, do your
Yeah.
best. You got plenty of time. That's your strong self-drive, though. That's your drive to win the race, right? I want to win
Yeah.
this.
Like, Kat, do you think it's more social? Like, because you're in the room with people and you're like, oh, I need to like turn in my homework, or someone else is gonna say, oh, you didn't turn in your
Yeah, for
homework.
sure.
Social.
Sorry, I just got back. What are we talking about?
Self-drive versus social pressure. What drives you to say, I get up and do it rather than just F it, I'm going to sleep today and not get this done?
It's always about other people's opinions.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, you
That's
play,
what I have to
That
say.
way.
yeah, and you play online gaming with other people, not by yourself?
I do some together and some not. Some by myself, but
Interesting. Same kind of thing, competing with yourself, competing
Yeah.
against.
yeah.
Open the door.
And there are games where you can literally compete with a past version of yourself.
It's so
And I
weird.
always thought that was interesting. Like,
Missed that part. What was that?
you can compete with yourself in certain video games. Like here's what you did in a past round, but do you want to play the level again? But you see the ghost, which was you in the last round, and can you do it faster?
I've seen that. I do that. And in the race car game I play, it's like that. Yeah, shadow car, go faster.
You're like, who does that? Like, I remember doing that at my old school, and they would add that in. So you would have to try and not only beat your previous score, but then all the classmates' previous scores and their current score. And that's a little stressful. But because it basically doubles the class size, and you have to know more than you did 5 minutes ago.
Heats up the competition. Palms get sweaty.
Yes.
All right. I
Exactly.
see.
But
Well, can you add? See, I feel like, like when I like to longboard, skate, and I'll like, some days it's just in the groove. It's like, and other days it's like, well, I want to try to push it today and see if I can get the tail to slide out a bit further than it did the day before. On the edge, right? Just to push. But there's nobody next to me saying, Doug, push it, see if you can get that out a little harder this time. I want to see if I can do that. I want to push myself today to see if I can do that. Just through that one little space, just to see again if that's possible.
That's how I feel about athletes. Like, I feel like you cannot be a great athlete unless you're competitive, like with yourself, because like you have to push yourself better than you did yesterday. And that's why I can't ever do athletic stuff, because I am like not competitive at all. I don't care. I want everyone to be friends. So I could never be a pro athlete. Never.
Faster. Number one, faster.
Competitiveness is awesome. It's so
No,
much
I would think,
fun.
like, yesterday I did
It's
my
so much fun.
best. So why would I need to force myself to beat it? I did my best yesterday.
It's so much fun.
No. I don't feel that way.
Playing team sports is so much fun. Okay.
well,
But
you
then-
can go do that. We'll be over here in the little cheer squad.
Okay, listen.
best.
Just because I'm wearing my Lake Hill cheerleading sweatshirt does not mean that.
Back to the video games. It's really, I feel like when you play, it's either compete when I'm driving my little video game, it's either compete with the clock, right, which is timing, right, or compete with other people. And I feel like that's kind of this life moment here is either you're competing kind of like with your self-implied clock of I'm going to get this done in this time period, I'm going to do awesome, or you're going to add some competition. There's 6 people in the game and we're going to play to see who's the winner. We're going to probably, diss on number 6.
Like Among Us.
Do what?
Like Among Us in a way.
Like Among Us. I was going to say.
Among Us, you're not competing with other people. You're trying to find who your teammates are while someone kills off your teammates.
Exactly. It's a team sport.
Yeah, but you're still trying to win. I mean, you yourself want to win.
Sport.
And your
Yeah.
team helps you win, but you're still,
don't
I'm the
know who
winner.
your
My
team
team
is.
helped me win. I'm the winner.
Yeah. Among Us is very interesting.
It's very, yeah.
We should do that for a live stream. We should all play
Probably.
Among Us.
All of us just play it.
There's
Oh, that
a
was so fun. Wait a minute.
there's
No,
a
write that down.
there's a scheduled like on Wednesday a scheduled Among Us.
Oh yeah,
Next week.
Oliver's like making an Among Us thing on Wednesday.
Mhm.
Dope. That's way cool. Awesome for all of them.
Do we have a time?
It's like right after school, so I think it's like
1:45.
yeah.
And it's through Beth's Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
How are you guys communicating as students, like in this space? How do you how do you pass information around?
I've been texting people.
I don't.
Yeah, I
haven't
don't.
even- No, I haven't either, honestly.
I don't. Period.
Do you feel detached because of that, or do you feel it's there if
Yeah.
you need, you just don't require it?
I feel like I'm not good at socializing. And then sometimes I'm just like, hee, what if I ignored everybody today? Wouldn't that be a fun lifestyle choice?
Yeah.
And then I do it, and then I ruin everything. So
Yeah.
Like, what if I isolate myself and pretend I don't exist and suddenly disappear off of everything? Like, wouldn't that be wild?
what if I
Oh.
wait for everyone to text me 3 times in a row before I answer them?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah. What's wrong? It's raining. That's all.
Yeah. Hey, what's the matter? Oh,
Raining.
nothing. I'm just, I'm me.
And that's okay. And here we are today, right on a beautiful Friday.
This is my socializing. Yeah.
Yes, the most challenging part of this to me is that kind of, we keep talking about that kind of casual communication, the casually, and that's and I feel like everything has to be a bit more, we're just more scheduled now.
Yeah.
But I just want to make sure that we have a fluid communication, because it's hard when we got so many ways to communicate with each other. Like, what is the best method? Is email still the most solid, or texting, the most direct? And we talk about prioritizing the volume of these different platforms. Like, when I see an Instagram DM, it's like, okay, I'll get to that, or a Facebook message is a little higher, but then the text is priority 1. Like, if the text comes in, it's like, oh, there's a text, let's get to that. Do you guys do that?
Answer texts first.
If I don't
Snapchat is
respond
like
to it,
bare minimum.
if I don't respond to a text within like the first 10 seconds they message it to me, I'm never ever responding to them. I just feel so bad.
Respond to it in like the first 5 minutes or 3 hours. There's no in between. Or a day, actually. So
3 months.
yeah.
You're like,
Sorry, I was busy.
I just woke up. Sorry, I didn't message you sooner.
Yeah, no, texting's got a loud voice. It's very loud. The volume of the texting it might as well be the phone call. It's like, hey, listen. Why? And then again, if you don't respond, it's like, yeah, you're right. I'm never going to respond immediately or never. I think this is probably how it's going to be.
Yeah.
And sometimes they get forgotten too, because they move down quickly.
Yeah.
Right? Like they're kind of like, yeah, that was like 2 hours ago.
I was gonna respond to it. I just forgot.
Yeah, forgot. Yeah, I can't flag that this easily. Email I like because it's nice record, but it's just I don't check it as often. And then when you do check it, you're like, oh man, there's like 20 things here all happening at once. Like, oh, this is gonna be a priority fest. Okay, well, which one do we got to do now?
My entire inbox is everyone prioritizes email, and they're like, email is so important. My email is Google Classroom notifications being like, hey, you turned this assignment in. Good for you.
I know that.
It's college people trying to convince me to go to their college.
Yep, getting those.
And then advertisements. They're like,
Yep.
hey, You should subscribe to our mailbox, even though we somehow already have your email. Like,
It's
well,
been here.
like it's just so. Email is the dumbest thing to me, and a lot of people have a lot of priorities for it. And I don't think I've ever once gotten an email that said something important.
I know.
Wait, isn't this class code an email from an email and not Google Classroom?
Is it?
Yes.
Sorry, Doug.
Probably, no, that's probably the only one thing I said important in an email was this. No, it's tough. Emails, again, they're long-winded, and I feel like in a text, as we've moved to text as a more frequent and spontaneous communication, which I like, when we transpose that over to email, the long form email where they just like multiple paragraphs, we're like, oh, we're never gonna get through those either. So I feel like email needs to shut up. If it would tighten itself up a little bit, be a little shorter in its message, I'd be okay with that. When I send one, I try to keep that as minimal as I can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never,
And I hate the fact that Google Classroom, I'm so glad I disabled this. Every day, constantly, your teacher's graded this is due tomorrow. This is due in 1 hour. No.
two notifications.
Yeah, it is a lot of emails from Google Classroom. So
Well, that's
I
maybe
haven't disabled it because I want to know what I get graded. So when
yeah,
it
I don't
tells me
want to
that-
disable mine, but I want to disable mine.
Yeah.
I want to know when I get graded stuff. I don't need to know when stuff was posted.
Yeah.
No, but I'm
only
talking about for
tell
the
you.
app. I disabled all that for my email, but for the app, it tells you when the teacher posted something and then when they graded it.
Mhm.
And it's like, I don't want to know if they posted something. I don't care about that. They'll tell us about that in class if they want us to do it. I want to
Yeah,
know
most
if
of the time it'll tell us, like they'll post something while we're all on a Zoom call,
yeah.
and then it'll notify every single device I have.
Yeah.
Like, your teacher posted this assignment. It's like, yeah, I know, I was there.
Thank
I
you.
like when all our phones buzz at the same time.
Yeah.
John posts
No, but the
something.
funny thing is though, is that Gwen does her assignments a day early. She posts
Oh yeah,
all
hers
of the study material and everything the day before. I'm like, Gwen, please just do it on the day to save my phone.
I prefer it that way because then I'll see the notifications from Gwen. I'm like, okay, I don't have to worry about it yet. If it's from any other teacher, it's like, oh crap, that means I was supposed to do it yesterday.
But yeah, just the way that notification systems are set up these days, it's like, I don't want to know if this dude ran 5 miles in 20 minutes. I don't care.
Well, yeah, I mean, every app you install, right, that's the notification thing. Yeah, it's
I
kind of
feel like the ones that are the weirdest about it are TikTok and Twitter. Because they'll notify you, just like, hey, one of your friends made a tweet. It's like, I don't have post notifications on for them. Like, I don't care. Okay.
Yeah, it's just,
And
see, the communications the apps do. The
Oh.
more you don't use the app, the angrier they get at you. Don't you care? So-and-so's posted a photo?
yeah.
And of course, YouTube. Doug, I don't know if you have the Bending Oaks. Whenever people post comments, it literally says reply to this person, and then it tries to show the whole comment, but like in the notification thing.
Just
But
get
then you
this.
have to click on it physically and then reply to it. I'm like, I don't care if someone liked my video, subscribe to the channel, don't email me this crap.
And it takes you to the video to remind you of the video that you made 4 years ago.
Yeah.
In case you haven't seen it lately, here's the garbage video that you made that you're about to get hate on. Oh, cool. No, it's not always the case.
This person didn't like your content from a decade ago. How do you want to respond to it?
Yeah. So I saw some, obviously the YouTube live feed with the question. You can pay up to have your question have more amplification.
Yeah.
This is a fun concept.
That is
So my voice is louder on the question bank because I paid my $2.
Yeah.
interesting.
Interesting. That's an interesting way to, yeah. So the live feed, because it's just the comments and questions, it's just too much. So now you really want to get heard, you want your question in, answered, we can do that, but if you wouldn't mind paying a premium, that'll help us out. Yeah, paying for knowledge, and that's worked in through the YouTube. We talked a bit about this. Was this last week we talked about YouTube Knowledge, and would you pay for YouTube Knowledge?
What do you mean by YouTube Knowledge?
Well, like you pay for Spotify, you pay for your music. You know, we just
Yeah.
About this, yeah.
yeah, we consider YouTube as education. Like if I want to learn about how to change the battery in my keychain remote, I'm going to go to YouTube, and I get that for free. Like that's free content. Like I can, you know, and so at what point will they start charging for that content, and how much would you pay? But through this question bank, it's kind of working, obviously monetization in different ways, but this is an interesting concept. They're doing a car review. I want to know how big that cup holder is. I'm going to pay the $5 so they'll answer my question now, because that's an important question for me, I guess. Did you pay for YouTube, Kat?
I had YouTube Red at one point, which is the no ads and premium content, but it just didn't feel worth it after a while. And I realized that the like specific creators weren't getting as much money. If you have YouTube Red, the money goes towards YouTube and not the creator themselves.
Yeah.
And I did not feel comfortable with that, so I switched back to the regular YouTube.
I think we talked last week about like people would just move to another platform.
Exactly.
Like they'd move to Twitch, or they'd move to like Instagram video or whatever. They'd move somewhere else. They wouldn't stay where you'd have to pay money.
Yeah.
And then would we see in that transition, if this happens, would we see premium content straight away, or would we see kind of garbage videos first as these new creators move into this new space and try to again make their little video on how to do a keychain battery swap, you know, and it's not quite as good as the YouTube one that's polished, that has the nicer.
It depends on where they switch to, because Twitch pays a lot of people to specifically like only use Twitch.
Sure.
There's some people who will be like, hey, I'm doing like a Discord video. If you want to join, like, I'll be on Discord. And then there's a lot of Twitch users who have been paid to specifically not use Discord. And so I feel like it depends on who the creator is and what platform they're switching to.
Sure.
But you could make a lot more money switching than if you stayed, probably.
Well, that's the Joe Rogan deal has been the deal of the year. With
Yeah.
the deal, the 100 million. And again, from YouTube is a free channel. YouTube is free content. He's moving off free content to paid service, to a platform that has no video background.
That is true.
And that's obviously Spotify is moving in. And Spotify's going to move into new areas anyway. I think Spotify's going to move into music videos. I think we'll see those transition off YouTube as Spotify
Links to videos and stuff.
All right, coming off Spotify.
They have links to like merch stores and whatever, and
solidifying a space of not just the song, but the band experience in Spotify.
I think Apple Music is also doing that. I think they have a whole section that's like, here's your band, here's this band, and here's all of their like music videos, here's all their albums, here's all their here's their website. I think Apple Music's doing that as well.
Yeah, because we talked a bit about last week that I don't know if I really love Spotify as much as I love my playlists in Spotify, that the songs are the same, AC/DC is the same song in either platform there. It's just, yeah, I guess the playlist or the experience, I guess. Spotify was first to it, so I feel like Apple's that retune. The iTunes, man, the 99 cents iTunes model was awesome, but they had to get off that to get into this other thing. I think they were slow in that transition. Again, why won't you switch? You know, Apple Music, they're trying to give it to you free, and it's this and that, but man, I don't know. I love my Spotify. That's how I feel.
you can add people on Spotify. Like you can be friends with people on Spotify, and like
I think they have that on Apple Music as well.
Yeah, it's feel again. Apple Music has done literally every single thing that Spotify does. Better because it's Apple, but they're like, no, I like Spotify. I just like it.
it's Spotify, you know.
It is. But my thing with YouTube, though, back to YouTube, is education. I feel like YouTube, I would pay a little bit of money if they're like, well, like I like to look up to fix things or do things.
Yeah.
As a
The thing is, where is the line for education? Like someone could be like, hey, this is our video like on the new iPhone 12. Like here's us just literally describing the phone. You could probably file that under an education video and you'd have to pay for it. And like that doesn't sound bad, but compared to now, that's not great. So
no, my worry that in this commercial space is YouTube has become so commercialized that when we do watch the review for the iPhone 12, that it's not unbiased, that it has been fully sponsored by Apple, that iJustine or Marquez Brown or whoever I was watching was well compensated, but for the package and presentation, like I don't know, and I feel as the YouTube algorithm makes sure. Again, the names we know come to the top. Is it a solid review? It's thoroughly put together. Is it biased? I don't know. I don't know.
I feel like everything's a little biased.
Yeah. Well, if somebody gives you something, right, to review it, I don't know. Are you obligated to say nice things about it because they gave it to you? I didn't have one to talk about.
When it comes to like makeup videos, I don't know if anyone else watches that, but like you are not obligated to be nice at all in makeup videos. Like, but there is a very interesting, because you'll see like a good example is Jeffree Star, I think, because he'll get sort of sponsored by a post, or like they'll send him the product for free and ask him to review it. But like,
better say nice things, man.
He'll say nice things. And then when he's like, I had to go out of my way and buy this product. And then he's like, I actually hate it. This is the worst. And it's a very common theme in his review videos. Like there's only a few products that I can like specifically think of right now that he didn't hate.
Okay.
If he had to go out and buy it himself.
If you're known for the diss, is that part of the MO though? Is I'm going to diss on it? That's part of my pitch. It's expected.
I feel like maybe, but obviously, if you want people to buy it, you're not going to say bad things.
Yeah, they give you one of my little favorite stories is Chris Harris, the car guy, and he has a little disagreement with Ferrari because he didn't say nice things about a Ferrari that he reviewed.
Yeah.
And now Ferrari's like, they don't, well, you drove our car and you didn't say nice things. And
yeah.
You want me to be honest? You're going to say nice things. It's future relationship, so again, based on the one device, one moment, I'd be like, okay, well, but it's the future, right? And that's the relationship. And that's what brings in that's what drives it.
That's actually what happened between Jeffree Star and Kylie Jenner, because she sent him a huge makeup thing. It was like her skincare line or something. Like she had just started it and he completely shitted on it. It was like, this is awful, which is like, obviously, I don't know if she paid him, but she sent him the product. And he's off her PR list after that, like completely off of it. But you look at like his reasonings and stuff for why it was a bad product, and like kind of grateful that he said something, because it's Kylie Jenner and she's dropping not a makeup collection, it's a skincare. So it's a whole other thing. And a lot of people are probably going to buy it. But when they realize like, oh wait, these ingredients are actually terrible for your skin, they probably wouldn't have thought about it without his review of it.
I think these businesses are so smart to be doing this, because like Kylie Jenner, like people are going to buy it because it's Kylie Jenner, but also like if you get sent one like before everybody else to review, you don't want to say anything bad about Kylie Jenner. Like, so most of the people you send it to are gonna have good reviews
Yeah.
because they don't want to anger the brand, they don't want to anger the face. And so like that's a really smart business decision because you're only gonna have a few bad reviews early.
Yeah.
Because people are gonna be grateful that they got the opportunity to review the product. And so they're going to give it glowing reviews even though they don't like it.
Exactly.
So
So
true.
it's
And that's how
very
majority
smart.
of these go. So you give away like 20 free products to some really big name people, and you sell out day one. Like,
Yeah, it's very smart. They know what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a concept in like YouTube creation. Like if you buy an item that's a brand new item, you know, and make a video about it, that was that kind of in the landscape of the past. That was kind of how things came up, especially cars or things that worked on a car that was a new concept or something new. If you could make a video about that, yeah, you could get some exposure because it's new to the marketplace, right? Yeah. I would review a makeup if that makes sense. It's something that's coming. Yeah, you're gonna get. Yeah, you're right. You're gonna get pushed. You're gonna get reviews just because the topic.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I knew a guy did some car videos, and he had one that's just like, and it was just that car was a rare car, and it was a timing thing, and nobody was doing videos. It was a hard find, and yeah, it's just.
And obviously the person who makes the video is going to get a lot of views from it. So it's also benefiting them by reviewing whatever product it is.
Yeah.
If they say something bad, they might get a lot of views on that one video and then nothing else. But if they say a lot of good things, they're probably going to consistently get people coming back and asking for more information. But
it's tough, man. Yeah, but it is. And do you feel like with review, it's who the person is? Like when we seek out a review, we seek out a person that we know and trust in that space now.
yes, that's how I feel about stuff. For makeup, it's a little harder for me now because makeup people online are really weird now.
I'm that way about books. Like there's this whole like subgenre of booktube, and like there are people that I generally agree with, and there's people that I don't, and I normally am reading whatever the people that I agree with are reading because if they like it, I'm probably gonna like it. And so I feel like there is definitely that, like you find reviewers who your tastes line up with generally, and that's like probably the best way to do it rather than doing random people you don't know or like aren't familiar with.
Yeah.
That are just like, well, I don't know if I think this same like similarly to this person, so why should I trust them?
I always try, like for makeup at least, I try and find people who have like a similar skin type as me. It's like I'll go for like not always skin tone, but it is beneficial when you see someone who is as pale as me online. And you're like, oh, you mean they actually have shades that match my face? That's cool. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll be interested in the stuff you talk about and recommend. Or like if someone has like dry skin, because I have dry skin, that's kind of rare, especially for people my age through like mid 20s. That's not a very common thing. So it's nice when I see people reviewing stuff and they're like, this is a great product for dry skin. I'm like, mine, I'll take it. But you do have to find like a niche person in order to actually get what you're looking for. So, yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense knowing your reviewer, because if you only just spot the one reviewer, you're right. I don't know if I know if we have two tastes and what you review is good or not.
You don't know why it's beneficial for you to be seeing what they think.
Yeah. Yeah, I think consistency in the reviews, right? Or I think whatever you're trying to. I'm always big on cars, so it's like the same couple of guys, whatever, with the car stuff, and you're like, well, they run the same kind of tests across all the cars, so it's like, well, then I kind of know what their benchmark is for those things, and where I fit on those as well. I guess that's a big one for me on the YouTube is the review of products.
Mm-hmm. I feel like that is a big genre of YouTube that YouTube doesn't lean into as much as they should.
Yeah, it's a big like chunk of YouTube is just people reviewing stuff, and
Yeah.
those are the videos that get views.
Yeah, and I feel like there's not a lot of like, I don't know how to put it, but like I feel like I see a lot of stuff with like vlog channels and like it's a lot of sponsors and like, but you don't really see that in review channels. So I wonder if that's like a part of the review thing, is like you don't want there to be a sponsor because
Well, that's it's the murky waters, isn't it? Of
Yeah.
That, you know, it's so we want it to be kind of clear, but it's hard. You know, when you get given the product and you've got maybe some prior obligations to another my daily vlogger that I loved was Casey Neistat, who would do the daily vlogs, and he rode this longboard. It was a boosted board, it was called, and it was like this $2,200 longboard. It's cool, but it's $2,200.
Yeah.
And somebody sent him and again, it's questionable what video you choose to review because you choose to use a product. So the product review pops up on the vlog, and it's a competitive skateboard that's $600. It kind of looks the same, but it's a shred video, and he just shreds it. Because it's not his endorser. His endorser is Boosted. They give him nice boards. I just didn't understand why it was such a transparent video when you're obviously sponsored by Boosted. Why make the disc video that's obviously a disc video and so transparent? And it goes up as part of the daily post because that was his video of the day. And after I think a couple of days, he's the guys probably a little salty on this review. And the comments are like, yeah, I mean, it's just, we don't have $2,200 to spend. The $600 board might have been a pretty good option, but you never gave us any upside to it, like nothing, just completely shredded it. And then I was like, well, again, that's a biased review, and that's a biased review. So I was like, when I saw that, I was like, well, now I can't trust you on my reviews. So you're no longer my review guy. Like your blogs, but I don't trust you on your reviews. So yeah, source, man, it always comes back to source. Lily, we talked about a lot last week on the Apple News and sources and who you check out and source.
like if you ask David Dobrik what his favorite car brand is, you can probably guess which one he's gonna say,
Yeah, exactly. Right, the one he sits in every time he makes a video. Maybe you didn't know it's part of the scenery or it's part of the set, part of the
It's
the
just
Coke
like,
can. Yeah, the Coke can in the background used to be the standard movie prop. The Coke can was always placed. Coke managed to get their way into every movie ever made. But yeah. And David did subtle or not subtle, right? The car.
I don't even know if I feel like he has to be endorsed by Tesla at this point. Because there's no way you get like 40 cars, like Tesla cars, like in a month.
Murky waters. I don't like murky waters. Again,
Yes.
it's just commercial space. We paid for this. And I love the videos that say, I'm not being paid for this. If it starts with that, there's some kind of compensation package is built around that. It's a complicated word for not getting paid.
You're not being paid for it, but everything was paid for.
Yeah, strange terminology. Yeah, more transparency. We've gone overtime. I love it when we go overtime.
Yeah. And then, as I said, you guys probably don't know the makeup world that well, but like Tarte, they used to do vacations. So it was like brand ambassador, like trips to Hawaii or like super nice vacations.
I've seen some of this.
And it was a bunch of like YouTube ambassador, like people. And they're like, I was not paid to say anything nice about this, but I love this product. And it's like, you weren't paid, but they took you on a vacation. They gave everything for free.
They show you the hotel room that they're staying in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like, yeah, you're not being paid for this, but like clearly something's going on.
We've got a yacht tour we're going to do in a few hours. I'll show you about that later. I'm not getting paid for this.
Their payment to you is a nice vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're doing that, and then it's like, oh yeah, here's like a side vlog of us like hanging out with turtles and like pigs in the ocean. Haha. We're so cute and fun, and we're a nice friend group that totally hasn't met for the first time yesterday.
Exactly. And they flying drones, and it's one of them I saw they were flying drones, and it was because it was like international waters or something they were allowed.
Yeah.
Vague laws or whatever, like. Good stuff, man.
Crazy.
Transparency. Come on, we listen.
I can promise our little YouTube live audience, we are very transparent. No sponsors here. We are not being
Oh.
paid to say anything.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, everybody enjoy Halloween. We got a time change. We've got a full moon. What more
Yeah.
can we have?
It's a
All this
pretty-
stuff.
Colder
it would have
weather.
been a great one. That's for sure.
Colder weather.
All right,
Um,
bye guys.
Everybody have a wonderful weekend. Happy Halloween.